Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The campaign is Spawn of Azathoth. It was written by Doc Herber, and our game master is John Hook. This is episode 18. Our recap will be given by Stuart Lively as his character, Cornelius Cuthbert. So without any further delays, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Stuart?
Part of our party returns to the observatory from the Firewatch Tower with horrific news of Bob's mutilated body, along with repeated attacks from rabid birds. We later discover that Zeno was actually a patient of Dr. Augustine years before. Shortly after, Edith, Philip, and Dr. Augustine head out to the woods to track down what sounded like Sasquatch, a wounded Sasquatch, in fact, out in the woods somewhere. They discovered a family of them, the Sasquatch, not very trusting of the human investigators as they tended their wounded. Back at the observatory, Dr. Long, Dr. Saladin, and I prepared the observatory for defense against the unknown, perhaps what Dr. Saladin describes as the Migo. Vasily and Dmitri did not believe the danger. They were wrong to disbelieve. The insect creatures came in the night. As Dr. Long, Dmitri, and Vasily were all excited about viewing Nemesis, Dmitri was pulled up and to his death by those vile creatures. Vasily was horrifically mutilated and puppeted by another shadowy creature, which Dr. Long observed for himself. We managed to fight the creatures off. We laid low and hid for a while, waiting for the others to return from the woods. The three fortunately did return, where we all hunkered down for the evening, awaiting the supposed safety of morning.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. And morning it is. What would you guys like to do?
Now we have to see if it's safe and get the hell out of here.
Do you think it's safe? I haven't heard any of them or any strange noises for quite some time.
Maybe there were only the two.
I thought Dr. Long saw a different creature. Did you see a different creature, Dr. Long?
Yes, there were three of them last night.
And we've killed two of them.
We believe there were 4 sets of prints that circled both Ms. England's house and the observatory.
Well, we know they can be killed as long as they don't shoot you with their ray gun.
Speaking of that curious gun, I wanted to look more at it. See if I could take it apart, examine its mechanics.
Be careful. To be honest, I don't know which is the front or the back and or how it's fired.
It melted right through the concrete. Look at that hole.
Looks biological.
Do my best to take great care. Maybe I'll take it outside.
From the body of the observatory, rather than the dome itself, let's look out the windows for wildlife infestation before we venture outward.
There are a few windows on the ground floor of the observatory, but they certainly don't encircle the observatory. So from a if the observatory is the center of a clock, you're probably only going to get visibility from like noon to 2, and that fairly narrow pie shape of visibility. Everything else is obstructed by walls you won't be able to see.
All right. Well, we'll go out armed, certainly, but if we don't see, 4 elk with vacant eyes and dripping maws, then we can assume that we're not surrounded, at least.
Are we hearing the morning birds like we'd expect, or is it scarily quiet?
There is the sounds of wildlife outside that you would expect. Chirping birds and maybe the scurry of squirrels, that kind of thing.
I'm also concerned about Hank and the doctor and the people in town. I hope they haven't fallen prey to these creatures either.
We have to go there first. And then what were you saying about the Sasquatches?
Oh, there was a family of them, multiple of them. And one of them, two of them, I'd say, clearly had gotten into a fight with some terrible large thing. One of them perished in the fight. The one that was Mr. Cuthbert said had been so disfigured. And another one, very, like, I think he lost an arm, a limb. And one of them was tending to it. If they were not friendly to us at all.
They
may
have
welcome.
used that same weapon against them.
That's possible. But yeah, it was clear that our presence wasn't welcome. We had considered maybe just bringing food to them, but I don't want to anger them any further.
I would love to try and communicate with them at some point.
Yeah, I think we might serve multiple purposes if we go to town and buy produce that we can share with the primates that we saw. But it's also, we need to go back up there, not only out of curiosity regarding them, but the other cave that might contain.
So there was another cave.
There's a cave above the cave the Sasquatches were in that was somewhat occluded with stones, and that was giving off a strange light. It might be one of the Nemesis predecessor. It might be the one that tore through the canopy. But it's something that we perhaps should learn about regarding the Nemesis question.
Now that we've slept and I've got a clearer mind, doesn't it seem to you that these alien Migo, they might be after that very object, and that's why they've shown up now, and we just happen to be in the way? Or at least they think that we're in the way, and they think that the Sasquatches are in the way too. They've been attacked as well.
So you're saying that these three fantastical things are coincidentally all coming together. The existence of Sasquatch, Migo, and a Nemesis are independent of one another?
Perhaps the Migo were drawn by the Nemesis, the meteor?
The meteorite.
It's basically my hypothesis that the crash was a Migo craft.
Well, actually that might make more sense because there is no huge crater.
Yes, we could see the burns through the trees. That's true, but we didn't find a crater.
There should be a crater. Anything large enough to penetrate the atmosphere and hit the ground would have to be fairly large, wouldn't it, Dr. Long?
Yes, the impact would have been more substantial, or evidence of it, at least somewhat, some kind of crater. But no, there is the only thing I've seen is a scarring on the trees. And if the Migo were simply trying to get us out of the way, why go through all the trouble of dissecting those around? I mean, if they're simply removing obstacles, they are clearly capable of just doing that.
So if I put that together with Dr. Baxter, maybe it landed. It didn't hit the ground.
Do any of you have a hypothesis as to what's going on with the wildlife here? Is that something the Migo are doing?
Maybe it's an effect.
And Mr. Cuthbert, I don't believe you saw what the Migo have done to people, but it clearly looks like they have some kind of passing interest in experimentation. Possibly this is some horrific modifications they're doing on purpose.
Their understanding of anatomy is impeccable, and they have quite the interest in biology and neurology. If they're taking of brains and they're controlling of nervous systems as any indication, so they might be capable of some kind of pathogen that's responsible for the animal's behavior. But
perhaps it's just the exhaust of their spaceship that causes radiation. Did we decide whether we could talk about radiation yet or not? I'm sure we can.
We know radioactive things exist, but they've not been known to cause any sort of effect like this.
So I guess it's just a question of whether we just hightail it back to Providence or whether we check out that cave you talked about. I mean, what do we want to do? If we find a meteorite, do we want to take it for ourselves or?
Well, we certainly need to document it or bring the appropriate authorities. Now, I think if the wildlife outside seems not hazardous, then we go to Garrison, ensure that the populace there is intact and not rabid or
Dead.
devoid of brains. We buy as much produce as Mrs. England did as we can to take as a propitiatory gesture toward our hirsute gigantic friends.
Hairy friends.
And then we carefully investigate the other cave.
And we do this all very well armed because we can see that you can kill them.
And during the day, we have a time limit. I don't want to be up here on this mountaintop come nightfall. Not again.
Those of you who found the unfortunate Ranger Bob, do you have an idea of when he was decraniated?
We have been talking to Bob often, like several times before we went to see him. I can't imagine it would have been more than several hours or a day.
No, I don't think it was, because obviously I examined them, but no, I doubt it was too long before.
So they can be active in the day, perhaps if they take precautions.
Honestly, we know nothing about them. They might be just as active in the day.
No.
We just have to be... The disadvantage is we'll be able to see them coming from a long way off.
I would like to make another point, just because I don't know much about this man. I just know him from correspondence with my mental friend. But he let me in on a albino man, and he was ranting about him when I was putting him in mental care. He was saying he was in the forest. So if there is a crazy albino man, maybe we should watch out for him as well.
Well, if there was anybody else walking around, they might be in the same condition as everybody else.
The albino
None of us
from
should.
the... Dr. Arlo, ignore what we're about to say, but do you think the albino from Ulthar?
I don't think, Zeno, I know.
Why would he be here?
Ulfa sounds like a nice vacation place.
It is.
So long as you're in the right state of mind.
Long, did you witness this yourself, or are we going on our poor unfortunate friend?
No, the only reason our poor unfortunate friend knows about it is because I mentioned it to him.
Ah.
I was the one who spotted the albino man in the woods the other day.
I know you don't believe me half of the time, but all of these are definitely portents. Like you say, it's not just a coincidence. All of this is taking place right here, right now. And here we are. And I supposedly have an answer in my brain that I'm unaware of. We're here for a reason.
The Sasquatch thing, I believe, is unrelated. They like everybody else around here are more just collateral damage. The Ranger Marshal and Miss England knew about them, and Marshall knew that Miss England knew about them, but neither of them seem to have known about the Migo. So they seem to be a recent addition to the situation.
I think Sylvia knew something about whatever crashed to Earth. She was very cagey about it. She kept telling me that there was nothing, but it didn't seem like she was being forthcoming.
That is perhaps because of its proximity to
the Sasquatch.
The Sasquatch, because of that glowing cave. If whatever came from the sky settled near where they live, going to the thing from the sky would have led us to the Sasquatch, which she wanted to protect. So I believe they are linked more by location and by proximity than they are through
Sure.
a meaningful connection or a purposeful one.
If we find that it's a Migo ship hidden in the cave, should we try to destroy it?
Well, they certainly aren't friendly. They try to melt you.
I wonder if being made of the same plutonian elements that the creatures themselves appear to be, whether it has dissolved already the way their carapaces seem to. At any rate, we'll need 2 trucks to go to Garrison. So everyone take up a weapon. It looks clear out, this through the windows next to the. I guess we boarded up the windows by the main door.
I did.
We'll take that down and have a good look out.
Okay.
And assuming we see nothing troubling, yes.
For the 3 of you that saw the Sasquatch in the cave, the family of them, was there just one that was horribly burned, or were many of them horribly burned?
The burned one that you described is no longer among us or among them. It was dead at the outside of the cave. Within, we found one that had been in recent battle and was still bleeding. We also saw one of your insect crab friends' limbs in the forest. So we think we came across the aftermath of a battle in which the mammal killed the insect, but at cost.
Well, it's interesting that these Migo haven't taken the brains of any of the Sasquatch. The only things that are missing.
If there's a family of Sasquatch, could there be more families of Sasquatch?
Presumably there must be.
Possibly.
We don't know that they haven't.
They didn't take. They don't seem to care about hiding the bodies. It's not like they found lobotomized creatures back in that family cave.
Nor are they taking animal brains.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if some scattered around this mountain there were other disassembled animals like Mrs. England's dog. It's just that, they would be dispersed and they out of doors rapidly by other critters.
Perhaps they're collecting souls, like the devil.
When you saw the carapace, the leg, the severed leg, was it in the process of dissolving into goo? Because the creatures we killed here dissolved.
It was, we would not have seen the claw itself had we not stepped into a viscous fluid that was presumably
the rest of it.
Yes.
It's odd because they look quite substantial, but they dissolved like they were made out of some sort of fungus, like a mushroom that deliquesces, that disintegrates. Inky caps. Very strange. Because something so hard and so lethal, I wouldn't think that it would dissolve like that.
It's interesting that their peculiar weapon also survives them. It's not as though everything that comes from their realm is unstable here, but their bodies seem to be.
Well, that is perhaps because it is still intact. If we damage that device, those weapon devices of theirs, they might also dissolve.
Maybe. It might be supported by fluid or something, and once that is ruptured, the whole structure collapses.
Like a banana plant. Yeah. Are we all emotionally girded for Garrison? Should we put coffee on first, or just gather in the trucks?
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
Yes.
2 in the back of each truck with shotguns.
I like that formation.
for killing anything that flies over us.
Remind me when we come back, we should see if there are records we can contact Dmitri and Vasily's family.
Hmm.
Also, based on your description, we should keep an eye out for Dmitri or a facsimile thereof. You didn't see him die, and you saw Vasily being manipulated.
Right. And we've got all of that. As I recall at the end of the last episode, we grabbed all the books and records and things.
Yes, you ran and just quickly grabbed those, but yeah, who knows if there's anything else, but you grabbed that kind of stuff and then kept it overnight in order to kind of have something to read while you were staying vigilant all night.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. I agree. All right.
What time is it? 8 o'clock? 7 o'clock?
Yeah, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I just want to clarify just a couple of things. Great conversation, by the way. It was never my understanding when you guys were up in the mountains near the Sasquatch home. I tried to describe almost like that elevated valley up there between the two rises. It never seemed to me, at least, that anyone ever traversed all the way to the north end of that, which is where, by looking through at the tops of the trees, you believe if there was an impact that it would have been at that far north end. And I don't recall ever anyone saying that they went all the way to the north end there to take a look. I had always, but again, we're playing theater of the mind, so I may have misinterpreted or misunderstood any intentions, but I don't think anyone has ever gone all the way to the end, that north end, and possibly had something to see or not. So just to kind of bring in question anything about an impact site.
Oh, okay.
And then the other thing is that Edith was wanting to look at the weapon. Throughout all this conversation, I can imagine while that's all going on that she's probably looking at this. So I'd like to have that scene, if we may, before we travel
I would like
anywhere.
to examine this.
So it is approximately the size of a spaghetti squash.
Okay.
About the size of a spaghetti squash. And it has just kind of looking at it, it does have both like a fibrous plant like structure, but it also seems to have almost like a chitinous, almost insect like exterior as well, like some kind of exoskeleton. Mm-hmm. It has a section where it almost looks like insect, like beetle like wings, where there's a hard covering that would kind of open up, and so it looks like you could spread that open if you so desired. And then and I guess your mind, because of beetles and ladybugs and stuff like that, your mind is telling you that's the top, right? And so then if you flip it over to what your mind is telling you, this is the belly, it almost has these little sectioned portions of the chitin that you haven't like depressed them, but your fingers have kind of tested them a little bit, and it seems like they could maybe be squished, like you could maybe depress them. But then the front, where you think a head should be and where you think a tail structure should be, those are just more basically rounded and have more of the plant, almost like a gourd kind of effect, where everything kind of grows together, where you could almost imagine a stem may have been there, but it's not. There is no stem. It's not quite a sphincter, but it just kind of comes to a point, where it all kind of grows together, and it's like a little circular knob on either end as well. So it's it's a strange thing. It's whatever.
It is strange. And do I get the feeling? Do I get the sense that the buttons would be what would cause it to fire?
I'm
not going to press.
You get a
anything.
sense that on the belly portion,
right.
you get a sense like you could push or squeeze or depress that,
right.
And then on the back portion, you get a sense like you could spread it open, but
Very well.
I'm assuming you haven't spread it open yet.
No,
you kind of get a sense like,
right.
I wonder if I could move that, and that seems a little like I could depress that, but you haven't done that yet.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I don't think it's wise to attempt to fire this weapon inside of the observatory. So I will note all of that information. And gentlemen, do you think we should take this with us or leave it here? I'm almost concerned about leaving it.
Bring it with us.
Okay.
And there are dose. There are 2 of them.
Yes,
mind the buttons on the side when you pick it up.
Let's actually quite. Let's carry them with us, but not loose. Let's pack them in a little Excelsior and cigar boxes or something, so that they don't get jostled and fire a foot wide hole in us or Hank or.
Yes, if there's more of them out there, I don't want them coming back for them.
It could be something that advances human technology 10,000 years into the future. Who knows?
God forbid.
Good thing we fought the war to end all wars already.
Exactly. Just wait for the year 2000.
There'll never be a year 2000. Okay, who's driving?
I'll take my truck.
I'll take shotgun. Literally, I'll sit in the back with a shotgun.
Going out to the trucks, looking all over the ground around the trucks. Does it look like those creature-like footprints are all around the trucks, or does it look like the trucks were left alone?
You know what you're looking for now, so a careful inspection of the grounds around the trucks, you don't discover any tracks.
Okay, that's good.
I think we placed at least one of them in a barn.
Right, are they both in the barn with the mule? Is the mule's name Lenin?
Trotsky.
There's one truck in the stable, and there were 2 of them outside.
Yeah.
The Ranger Marshal's truck is in the stable.
Right, and let's leave that there.
Seems wise.
So Edith's truck and Sylvia's truck, you guys are going to use those?
Yes.
So Edith, you're driving your truck, and then Zeno, I'm a little confused. You said shotgun, but then in the back. So are you in the bed of the truck?
I'm in the bed of the truck with the shotgun.
Bed of the truck. All right.
I feel lucky.
Does anyone want to? You feel lucky. Does anyone want to ride in the cab with Edith?
Oh, I'll ride in the cab if you don't mind, Edith.
No, of course.
I'm pretty handy with my handgun, but not so much with the shotgun.
Okay, so then are you all going to divide 3 by 3? And so who wants to be driving Sylvia's truck?
I will drive Sylvia's truck. I've driven it before on the way back from the fire tower. So. And
does anyone want to ride in the cab with Frederick, or does both the good doctors want to go hillbilly style and be in the bed of the truck?
Augustine, I feel comfortable keeping a wide arc at the sky. So if you want to ride in the cab like a civilized person, you've just come into this mad house. So,
well, maybe I don't really get to sit in the back very often, so maybe I will experience this different nature. And I will be in the bed.
If you're comfortable along with us both being in the rear, we'll keep our backs to the windows so we can rap on it if there's something to attend you.
Okay, so both doctors are in the bed of the truck with Frederick inside the truck driving by himself. All right. And no one is going to stay behind and guard the observatory.
I don't think anyone should be
No.
alone. Yeah, nobody should be alone.
Oh,
Okay.
Zeno, do you want me to ride back there with you, or?
If you want to.
Yeah, it might be safer, like you were thinking originally. Edith, you think that'd be okay? You up front by yourself?
That's perfectly fine.
All right, because I'll have a better firing arc in case anything happens in the open bed of a truck.
And we use our belts to strap us together so that we can stand in the back and cars.
And then when one of you gets yanked up into the sky, the other one goes right with them.
See, but our added weight will make it harder for them.
Yeah. There you
Should
go.
we put a little cache of our collected texts somewhere?
On the floor in the front of the car.
Oh, with us. Okay.
Yeah, no, take them with us.
Well,
That way, if
Okay.
we die, there won't be any record whatsoever of anything that happened. All right.
Okay. You guys good to go? All right. You saddle up. So Edith is driving her vehicle with Dr. Zeno and Cornelius in the bed of the truck, armed and watching the skies and the land around for crazed animals, I assume. Frederick is driving the other vehicle with Dr. Arlo and Dr. Phillip in the back of that truck, on guard duty as well, I assume.
Sitting on
Okay.
opposite sides of the bed, facing each other so that we can see.
So we can shoot each other. Just it'll be perfect.
So
we're sitting sideways.
you're in each other's firing arc. I love it. All right. Perfect. So people who are in the beds of the trucks, you guys are watching off to the sides of the
Correct.
of the
And
trip,
back.
sides and back, and then the drivers are looking ahead.
Right.
Okay. Right. So, as a reminder, the little path, really, it's not even a road, it's just a worn, rutted path. The path that comes up into this mountain area comes up from Garrison and goes right by Sylvia England's ranch, and then it divides in a Y. And in one direction it goes towards the observatory, and the other direction goes towards the fire tower. And so as you guys are leaving the observatory, you're heading down that branch of the Y, and you're approaching the junction to where you have the option to turn and head towards Garrison, or kind of sort of stay straight and head up towards the fire tower. So as you guys are trundling along, you can see, just the drivers, since no one else is really looking that direction. But Edith and Frederick can see ahead of them, up on the rise. There's that fire tower up there, and so as you're kind of driving and kind of it's in your line of sight there, like, oh, there's the fire tower. The fire tower suddenly has a series of incredibly blinding bright white lights kind of flash on the fire tower, and you see what looks just like a cloud of debris expanding, and then you both hear and feel the rumbling that's occurring, and you almost can see the wind, the wall of wind coming at you as trees are felling off in each direction, and suddenly this gigantic concussive blast slams into both vehicles. So I need the drivers to each make a drive auto roll with penalty dice. And everyone who's in the backs of the vehicles may attempt jump rolls.
Yeah, that's a failure.
Yeah, 85 is nowhere close.
Okay.
Yes.
Also,
99 is a failure.
oh, that's lovely, lovely.
I got a 37 out of 20, but I'll spend the 17 luck points
Okay.
to make
Yeah,
it.
same deal except 34 instead of 37 on our base jump of 20 rather than breakneck.
And Cornelius?
All right. So my jump is 20. I have 40 luck. I rolled 60. If I spend all of it, oh, Jesus.
Don't do it.
Well, I don't want to die, so I will spend 40 luck. I've already taken hit points damage. I can't. Oh
Okay.
God, it's spent.
I also need Edith and Frederick to make con rolls, please.
Oh no.
All right, I'll spend 7 luck to pass.
Yeah, I'll
since we're
spend the
all-
luck. I'm definitely
since-
spending the
since we're
luck.
Spending
Okay.
luck today.
As the flashes of light were starting to occur, those occurred when you were not actually looking at the tower. So you were able to kind of protect your eyes. And so neither of you are blinded by the flashes of light. The blast strikes the vehicles and they are picked up and tossed like toys, like children throwing toy trucks in a sandbox. Both these trucks go flying. The gentlemen who made successful jump rolls are able to jump out of the way, and I need each of you to please roll a d6.
Four.
Dr. Baxter.
5.
Okay, whatever you rolled, that's how much damage you take. But you take that damage and kind of roll with it, and I assume you're going to be a-okay. Dr. Augustine, you rolled a 99. So I would have asked you to roll a d10 for damage, but because of your fumble, you're going to max out and you're taking 10 points of damage as your body is tumbled and tossed and battered by that metal truck as it's flipping through the air. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Edith and Frederick, I need each of you to please roll a d10.
I don't
Ooh,
have to pay my
two.
bill.
Edith, you were wearing your rudimentary seatbelt. Good job.
That's a
Dr. Long?
9.
9.
9.
I'm at 0 HP, by the way.
Okay, and that would have been a give me a con roll, since that was clearly going to be a major wound.
No, that's a 98. So
33 is a pass.
that's a fail on the con roll.
Okay.
Fuck.
Cornelius, with 0 luck, you are unconscious.
Okay.
So you jump free, you took your 2 points of damage, and you're relatively safe, but you're unconscious.
Unconscious. Okay, that actually might be good, laying low in all of this.
I suspect that Dr. Saladin and Dr. Baxter survived despite the amount of damage that they took.
I'm down to 2 points.
So make a con roll, see if what you suffered is a major wound.
I got 28 out of 50.
So it's not.
Saladin
So you
is
took the
tough.
damage, but you're solid. Dr. Baxter, how was your damage?
I rolled a 5 and I had 5 hit points apparently. I don't remember how Baxter got injured, but I'm at
Dog.
0 hit points.
I don't remember
Probably
either.
that dog. It's probably the dog.
Probably
right?
the dog. So go ahead and
Yeah.
make a con roll, if you will, Dr. Baxter.
30 is good.
Okay. So you're not dying. You're at 0 hit points, but you are not dying. So you're just unconscious, but heavily battered. The concussive wind continues to blow for several seconds, and then it finally dies down. Edith and Frederick, you guys are trapped in your vehicles. They're kind of crushed around you a bit, and we're not real sure what's going on with Dr. Augustine. Dr. Saladin, your ears are ringing. You've just got that kind of tinnitus effect going. And as you kind of push yourself up off the ground, you look around and you do see Dr. Baxter and Cornelius. They seem to be just laying on the ground, but you can see their chest rising, so they're breathing. And then the vehicles are off the rutted area and have been slammed into some into like a ditch area type of thing, just a rut in the earth, and they seem quite twisted.
Should I roll luck to see if I kept a hold of my weapon or if it went flying?
No, it's gone.
Okay.
You might be able to recover it, but
John,
At
I
the
sent,
moment,
you
I don't
I sent you a message, John. Maybe you haven't seen.
He's been Cordovan.
got it.
Well, I'm badly injured, but I'm surviving. So I'm starting to crawl towards the nearest person. Is it Cornelius?
Yes.
All right. So I'm crawling towards Cornelius. Cornelius, and I'm tapping him on the leg, I guess.
You can see that he probably needs some medical attention of some sort, just first aid.
All right. I'm going to roll first aid to see if I can stop any bleeding or anything that's going on.
Okay.
81. Yeah, I'm not strong enough at the moment.
Okay.
Too badly injured. You got a hole right here.
And Dr. Baxter is laying there also. And of course, the 2 trucks are there.
Nothing's on fire?
No. Possibly that tremendous wind, if there was a blaze, blew it out.
Right. I look back up towards the fire station.
You have a very clear view up that side of the mountain as foliage and just everything seems to have been wiped out, blasted out in a way. And it just looks like a scar on the earth as it's been cleared out.
So I'm going to yell out, "Who's away? Who's conscious?"
Edith, it's Edith. Help! I'm trapped. I think I feel okay though.
I got better.
I'm going to crawl towards the car or the truck where Edith is.
All right.
And if there's anybody else along the way, like Dr. Frederick, I suppose we all just got blown in the same direction.
Yeah, everyone just kind of tumbled in a similar direction. So yeah, you're at the vehicle. The windows are smashed. You can see Edith has taken some superficial cuts, but she seems to be okay for the most part.
Can I just crawl out of the window? Or is
yeah,
it like
with some
crushed?
assistance, Dr. Saladin's, there's no roll necessary. He's able to help you get out.
Great. I'm gonna look around to see who needs the most help and maybe try to help.
Dr. Long. I'm starting to crawl over towards Dr. Long. Where is Cuthbert? Cuthbert is. See if you can help Dr. Cuthbert. Cuthbert.
Okay.
Everybody's a doctor today.
Everybody's a doctor. So Philip is on the road. He was near Cornelius, and again, both of them were unconscious but breathing. And so you extracted Edith, and so the other truck you assume contains Dr. Long and Dr. Augustine, even though he was in the back of the truck with Dr. Baxter, but
All right.
he's not in the road like Baxter was.
So I'll climb over to the other truck with Dr. Long. And is the window broken?
Yes.
Okay. Is he hanging upside down inside?
He's what's your hit points? What's your current hit points? Long?
2.
Okay.
I
Same
took
as me.
9, but I passed my con roll.
So he's in a heap. But you can see that he's breathing, and calling out to him does waking him up.
Okay.
Oh God, what happened?
I have no idea. It was instantaneous, whatever it was.
Oh, I think I bruised a rib.
Yeah, I think I broke my legs. Dr. Augustine and I think Dr. Philip is over on the road, but not sure where Dr. Augustine went.
I'm gonna try to look for him. Look in the vehicle, see where
I'm helping
Augustine is.
Frederick out if I can.
Okay, yeah, it's just like getting Edith out. You can get him out. Edith, give me a spot hidden.
That's a pass, regular success.
Okay, so it seems like you guys may have been at the very edge of the blast radius, and so there are some trees that are standing not too far away. And Edith, as you look up, you see Dr. Augustine twisted up among the tree limbs up there.
Oh, we
But
need to get him. We need to get him.
it looks like he may be breathing. You see bubbles of blood at his lips.
Oh, that's not good.
I don't. You're not supposed to move people that have been injured. I don't know how do we help him?
I don't know. We're injured.
I'm okay. I think I'm probably the most okay person here. Oh gosh.
Check on Dr.
I think
Phillip.
he's one that. Okay. Yeah, I'll go check on Dr. Baxter.
Okay. It looks like he probably needs some first aid.
Right. I'll try to perform some first aid on him. I have rudimentary first aid.
I'm gonna check and see if my legs are in fact broken or just really hurt.
It's just a regular pass. It's yeah. I'm gonna spend the 3 points of luck, but that's a regular pass.
Okay. Dr. Baxter, restore 1 hit point. And you can wake up. But
Once I see him coming to, I'm gonna rush over.
He's coming to,
Cuthbert.
but he feels awful.
Just stay lying down. I'll be back. I'm gonna rush over to Cuthbert. Do I need to do a first aid on him as well?
Yes.
Ooh, I don't have to spend for that one. Just a regular success.
And Cuthbert, you restore 1 hit point.
Yes.
And you awaken, but feel awful.
Oh my God, what happened?
I'm going to try to
Edith,
find a
alright.
gun.
There was
shotgun.
flashes of light. There were things on the fire tower when I was there. They must have been explosives of some kind.
Yeah, I saw the lights too. We need to help Dr. Augustine. He's in a tree.
What?
He's in
Oh my
a
God.
tree.
I don't know how we're going to get to him.
I'll try to climb the tree, I suppose.
Don't
think I
fall
can do
and
it.
hurt yourself, because then we'll all be hurt.
If you climb the tree, then don't fall. It's not as though you can carry him down.
That's true.
I guess you could take up gauze and assess him, but don't climb any higher than you're capable.
Yeah, how high up in the tree is he?
He's about 15 feet.
Okay. If I fall, I won't die.
But if you
I'll
break your
risk it.
arms or break your wrist or leg,
He looks like he's dying. He needs help.
Yeah, we need to stop the bleeding and stabilize him, and then.
So the man's dying. You have to put your past with him behind.
people must have seen that flash. All the
Oh,
way
you
into
think?
town.
They must have felt that damn flash.
Maybe they'll come up and rescue us.
If we can stabilize Dr. Arlo, or we might be able to get some rope from the observatory and get some sort of pulley system.
The observatory? How the hell are we supposed to get back up to the observatory?
How far away do you think
That's up a hill.
Let's see if at least Dr. Frederick and I can try and stabilize Edith. And maybe we can get him down, keep him from hitting the ground if you pull Dr. Arlo.
Okay.
Okay.
With your assistance, Edith may make a climb roll with a bonus die.
What's the base for climb? Because I don't see it on my sheet, which means I don't know
20%.
anything. Come on, bonus die.
Just gonna get a 99.
Woo, I'll spend the 8 points. All right. Blowing through my luck today.
Okay.
Yes. This is
So you, with the assistance of the gentleman, you're able to get up high enough, and you can, kind of move an arm that seems to be twisted and folded in the wrong direction, and then kind of unattach him from the limbs and bring him down and guide him down.
okay.
So you're able to get Augustine to the ground.
How far is this junction from the observatory?
It's probably only about, now that you're going to be walking, it's probably about a 10-minute walk.
Okay. I'm going to go. The third truck is at the observatory. We can all fit inside of it. We need to get you guys to the doctor in Garrison. I feel fine. I can do it. I'm going to go. I'm going to look around for a gun though, if I can find one
I
quickly.
actually feel pretty good. I'm feeling a lot better, and I didn't take too much damage. Thank you for that great patch-up job. I'm actually pretty well.
You look great, but you also look like you're all out of luck.
I
Yeah.
didn't know.
You and restore 1 point of luck, because at 0 you're unconscious. So with that first aid, you got 1 point of luck as well. So you're at 1.
Thank you.
Okay. So Edith and Cornelius, you guys both want to go back to the observatory to get a truck?
Yeah.
Is there? I would like to
think
look around
that-
for a weapon.
Yeah,
Very
Give me a spot
nervous.
hidden.
we've got
Oh yeah.
guns
If
all
I
over
could
the
look for
ground.
mine.
Probably Cuthbert and anybody who had a handgun instead of a shotgun, it might be pretty near them, whereas the shotguns went flying with the trucks.
I had a pistol. I'm assuming it's.
Oh, if you were inside the cab of the truck, your weapons are with you. It was
Oh,
only
okay.
if you were in
I
the bed of the
I
truck.
still have my shotgun.
Yes.
Woo!
I rolled an 08 for my
Woo!
finding my handgun.
All right, you found your handgun and a shotgun.
Oh,
That's
wow.
good. Yeah, I'd like to lean against this rock or shrub or something with
Right.
a gun just in case.
Does
Here's a
anyone
shotgun.
want to give Dr. Arlo first aid?
Yes, I was trying to say
Oh
that.
yeah, I'm really good at that. Or actually,
Oh, let a doctor do it. I mean, let
Okay.
Cuthbert do it then.
yeah, I used to do this in the war. Boom. Ooh, that's a hard pass. 22
right.
out of 71.
Okay. Dr. Augustine, you can have 1 hit point, but did we do a con roll for you?
Yeah, I failed it.
Okay.
98, I believe.
Yeah. So so you have stabilized him, but Cornelius, your medical background in the war has told you that unless Dr. Augustine receives actual medical treatment, so someone who can do with equipment do a medicine roll on him, that he is the deck is stacked against him, is what your opinion is, that he's not long for this world. So he definitely needs medical
We need that
attention.
truck. We need that truck
All
for
right, let's
Dr.
go.
Augustine, or he's a dead man.
All right. Watch, keep your eyes upward.
Oh yes, I have my gun.
Okay. So Edith and Cornelius go back to the observatory.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So you guys are trucking on foot back up. What does everyone else do at the crash site?
Sit on the ground and
reassess every decision in my life that's gotten me to this point. Make sure that I'm not gonna die because I'm in a great deal of pain, but I don't think I'm too bad off. Other than I think I'll recover.
Are both of the
Quickly.
trucks on their roofs or sides or?
Yeah, they're both on their sides, but you can also see that a lot of torque was applied to the body of the vehicles, and so they're twisted. The axis is no longer straight, and the transaxles are also not parallel to each other anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here trying to mentally keep my organs from bleeding into my body cavity, and checking to see that the shotgun might fire if we get a visitor.
Okay. Yes, Cornelius.
Did we leave already, or did I have a moment to think like, oh, Dr. Long doesn't look too well either. Maybe I should.
You could do that. Yeah, you could do that if you'd like.
Oh yeah, here, let's just 1 second, Edith, before we head out. Let me take a look at that, Dr. Long. Oh Jesus! Wow. Sorry, there.
Did you just kill Dr. Long?
I don't have any
Mister
luck.
with no luck.
Well, okay. Sorry about that.
Let me apply
Push
this
it,
tracheotomy
push it,
to you.
Push it.
No, can you push it? No.
You can push it.
No.
Why? I don't
then he
have a
dies.
major wound.
No. Okay. I rolled a 98. So I'll just, I guess, leave it at a fail.
Yeah. No, it's just a
God,
fail.
just leave me alone. Just leave
sorry.
it. Just leave it.
Sorry.
Okay, so those at the wreckage are armed a little bit and are just kind of keeping watch. All right, Edith and Cornelius, you guys are walking back to. I won't penalize you, Dr. Cornelius, or Mr. Cuthbert. I mean, so you guys walk back to the observatory. And so yeah, after 10 minutes, you're slowly dragging your feet as you return to the observatory.
Straight for the barn. I know that's where the truck is.
Yeah, right there with you.
Okay. Hold on just a second. Edith, you go and you're opening up the barn to get to the truck. Mr. Cuthbert.
Oh, who's that? Did you hear that?
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Was that Dimitri? I could have sworn I just heard Dimitri.
Jesus. We need to I don't like the sound of that. Let's get into this barn.
He's injured. It sounds like he's hurt his legs. Dimitri, where are you?
Cornelius, we know they can sound like other people, can't they? We've heard them talk like other people.
But that's usually when they're buzzing, though, isn't it? This is, you're not hearing this?
No, I don't hear it.
Make a listen roll, Cuthbert.
Yep, succeed. Regular standard pass.
Standard pass. It's hard to hear, so it doesn't seem clear enough for you to ascertain anything other than you can hear his voice from the nearby wood line.
Yeah, I know these creatures can trick you, but isn't it usually with a buzzing? This is his voice. You're not hearing that.
I thought Dr. Long said it sounded like Vasily was talking to him in his voice, and that's what tricked him into going into the room. Wasn't that the case when the thing was moving him like a puppet? It sounded like Vasily.
I don't know. I'm second guessing myself. I'm rather terrified at this moment. I don't want to see. Well, Dimitri's your friend. What do you think?
I don't think he survived whatever that was last night, and our friends are dying. I think we need to get this truck and go.
Did you not hearing that? You're really not
No,
hearing
I
it.
hear it. I hear it, Cornelius. I don't.
Is it that his voice or not?
I think that's him.
Well, okay, we could just sort of.
My legs.
Where are you? Okay, can we take? I take a few steps in the direction I think he's in, but I have my my handgun drawn.
Okay. Give me a spot hidden.
All right. Well, there it is. That's a hard success.
Okay. Yeah, with a hard success, you think you see a shape in the woods. It looks like it's maybe 25 feet or so in the woods, but it's you can't tell exactly what it is, but it doesn't seem to be very big. He might be slumped on the ground.
Okay, but it's more of a human-like shape, not like some big arachnid sort of shape.
It's not a big arachnid shape, but it's hard to tell. It could be a human slumped on the ground.
Okay, that's it. Well, I think I see him. Okay, I take a few more steps. I'm not going to be foolish and come right up to him. I've got my handgun drawn. I take 5 more steps in that direction, kind of trying to clear whatever's blocking my view. If there's a tree here,
Edith, what are you going to do?
I'm desperately getting the barn open. I just want to be ready for a quick exit.
Okay, so you're going to go get the truck?
Yes.
All right. Edith is getting the truck. Cornelius, as you are kind of going a little more and deeper into the woods, you think you see something big, almost like a garbage can or some sort over there.
Something big, but it's not human.
It looks cylindrical, like a garbage can.
Oh, no. Oh, no, fuck this. Okay, I'm out of here. I'm starting to go back towards this truck.
You can hear
Edith?
You can hear almost like a voice through a tin. People might do the tin can kind of to amplify their voice.
Oh yeah.
You hear that coming from the garbage can over there, and you hear Dimitri going, "Help! I can't feel my legs."
Okay, don't you worry, Dimitri. We'll be right back. As I'm going quickly back towards the truck. Edith,
get in. We need to go. Get in.
Help me.
Oh wait, no, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're tearing out of here. As soon as he gets in the truck, we're gone.
That wasn't human. Was
it Dimitri? Did you see anything?
It wasn't a human. It was some sort of canister.
That's all I need to hear. Let's go.
It was buzzing his voice.
All right. So yeah, the truck tears out. Gravel's being kicked up, and you guys make it back to the crash site.
Oh, they're still alive.
Let's go. We found whatever is left of Dimitri. I don't know if those things are coming back. We need to go.
All right, let me get. Has everyone been medically treated? Is to the best of our ability up here?
Well,
I don't think Dr. Saladin. I don't think anyone helped Dr. Saladin.
We need to get to the doctors.
Yeah.
Beds, medicine.
Okay. Yeah. Let's get them into the truck, and let's get going.
Don't poke us anymore. Did anyone?
Now we all have to climb into the one truck. So
yes,
I'll get in the back.
I hope that it's not too bumpy of a ride.
Oh, the shock absorbers on this thing are really good, I'm sure.
Oh, that's great.
Probably of the 3 trucks, it's the nicest.
Yeah.
I would bet.
Yeah, it's an official
Still gonna
Ranger.
hurt like hell.
It's a Ranger vehicle, so
Hopefully another bomb or whatever that was doesn't go off.
Oh,
okay.
This very bright light.
No, not your pipe.
It went up with the explosion.
Somebody help me with Dr. Augustine.
Now I'll help you, Cornelius. I think I'm the the most able person right now. Let's
All
put him
right.
in the cab. Let's put. I think it'll be less bumpy for him in there.
Yeah, we need to get Dr. Augustine to the same hospital that Zeb's at.
Don't think you should fold him though. Maybe he should stay
He's still lay
flat.
flat.
We could tie him to the roof of the cab.
I
There
think
you
we
go.
could all lie in the back.
Like a deer.
We could lay him across the cab, right? Like just put his feet in my lap. I can still do the stick
Oh,
and the
just
steering wheel.
Use a rope, tie him to the hood.
Hopefully, he won't start coughing up blood all over you as you're.
I've seen worse since you all have gotten here, so I think I'll be all right.
All right. So you get into the truck and miraculously you make it down to Garrison.
Straight for the doctor's office.
And are the people still alive in Garrison?
The people are alive in Garrison, and it seems like the entire town is gathered at the general store.
Their eyes aren't all glazed over, are they?
No, they're all in a fervor. Like they see the truck coming and they're rushing up to the truck. They're like, "What happened? What's going on?
Where's the doctor? Where's the doctor? We've got injured from that blast. Where's the doctor?"
And so the doc comes up. He goes, "Oh my God, get in here!"
Gas
And,
explosion.
And there's a bunch of able-bodied men who run up and carry Augustine in, and the doctor attempts to do life-saving work. Dr. Augustine, make a luck roll.
Oh, what is my luck? Oh, yeah, okay, that's all right. That's all right. I've got okay. Look. Oh, 3.
From death's door, you have snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, and you seem to be looking like you will survive. Your one of your lungs was punctured. One arm is completely dislocated, and it was twisted backwards. So that was a lot of fun for them to correct. And but your legs are amazingly fine. So you should be ambulatory in a couple of days. But yeah, you're gonna have some long-term scarring and breathing problems, and so, but he seems to have gotten you past the worst of it, and it looks like it was very nearly fatal, but you seem to be all right. Everyone else who's injured may each make a luck roll.
Good luck with that, Stu.
That's just mean, John.
20. Pass.
55 is a fail.
Pass.
Of course, perhaps the shock of the whole thing caused Cuthbert's psychosomatic leg to suddenly start working again.
Yeah, maybe.
I will allow that to be undone. Yes, the sheer shock of it and just adrenaline has taken him past his psychosomatic leg thing. But if you were successful in your luck roll, you may gain another point of health. If you failed, no additional gain but no loss, as the doctor and some volunteer staff applied their medical treatments to you as well. Several vehicles drive up, and it's like the town fire brigade, so they're driving up.
Oh no.
Now when you guys looked up at the scarring, you didn't see any flames, so the forest is not on fire, but they don't know that, so they're going up there just to check out the fire tower.
Maybe they'll find enough left of Bob that we won't have to explain his passing.
Maybe we should tell them not to go up there.
Why? What are we gonna say?
That they're alien monsters that are attacking planet Earth.
Yeah, and they're gonna believe a bunch of people with concussions, Zeno.
Yeah,
One of
Dimitri.
Well, that at least won't be our fault.
They got Dimitri. I'm almost certain they did. There was some weird canister-like container with his voice emanating from it.
You know what? I'm gonna sleep for the next month, And when I wake back up, we could talk about this.
What
If you
about the
sleep for a
glowing
month, we'll
cave?
probably have Nemesis get us before you wake up.
What about the glowing cave?
It's not
And
by
the
the tower.
Sasquatches.
They can't see it from the tower because the tower's gone.
No, but I mean, do we need to pull ourselves together and go back?
We do as soon as I can inhale again without wincing in pain. I think at least these 2 ribs broke.
Well, Dr. Augustine's definitely out. Poor Zeb, who knows how long he's going to be gone. We're all kind of injured.
You know, Miss Thomas, I think you should gather a team and take over while we recover here in town.
Okay.
Do you
think
have
that's a
like
good
a lot
idea.
of cousins who have strange skills?
The Thomas family?
Not the England family.
Well,
It was just me and Sylvia.
well, I know a family you could get in contact with who would happily send dying men.
Arlo, it's a miracle.
Funny episode, though. Cordova's to the rescue. Cabrera's to the rescue.
Cabrera from Spain, straight from Spain.
Yeah, no, I think
I
there's
guess we're going to have to recover for a couple of days at least.
we can only hope that there were really only 4 of those things. And so the one that set the blast and imitated Dimitri is operating at a disadvantage.
Well, I
I
don't
hope
know
so.
if it was one of them trying to trick me as Dimitri, or if it was actually Dimitri in some sort of like prison box or canister or something. I don't know. I couldn't verify. I was not going to stick around to find
I
out.
don't know.
Why
I don't know
did
how we're
they-
going to explain all these disappearances. Sylvia, Dimitri, Vasily,
the blast.
all of these people that
They-
we are the last people to have been in contact with.
There was a massive explosion.
at
Yes,
the
that's
fire
true.
station.
It's true.
We don't know what happened.
They were having a tea party on top of the fire watch
But why?
without us, and then it all blew up.
Why did they blow it up?
We don't know
Evidence?
what caused the explosion. I don't know.
So you saw some kind of what you described them as. I was afraid they were egg sacs. The things you said were stuck up on the underside of parts of the tower.
But
Must have
before
been
the-
some kind of explosive.
You know,
Well-
perhaps that was the vantage at which you could see where the Nemesis cousin landed, and they didn't want anyone to be able to see that. Maybe they always destroy the evidence when they murder humans.
If they wanted to kill us all, and they knew we were in the observatory, why not blow up the observatory?
Well, they almost killed us all just by blowing up the fire tower at that distance.
But
true.
before it blew up, didn't one of you or both of you say that you saw flashing lights?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it's
did.
a series
I saw
of
that.
them.
Weren't those explosions?
They
I don't
believe
know.
so.
And those lights were like through the superstructure that was holding up the fire tower.
They must have been explosions.
You saw the explosions before the sound and the
Yeah,
And the
and
wind
where
got
they
to
and
us.
where they were there was a series of them going up the tower. That's about where they were placed when we were there.
But why?
I don't know. How about you go out in the woods and ask them?
Dr. Long, if you don't ask the questions, you never understand what's going on. Why are you so against asking the questions?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I almost got blasted the Kingdom Come today. Today's not a good day.
But why?
Yesterday wasn't any better. We almost all died also.
I don't know. Why were they taking people's brains, Zeno?
I'd like to ask around town and see if anyone just has seen anything strange, knows anything about this, heard any weird rumors, anything like that, since everyone seems to be gathered around anyway.
Ask about the rabies while you're out there.
If any animals have been acting strange, have we seen anything weird, anything like that?
Well, that reminds me.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, Dr. Baxter, that reminds me. That rabid dog that bit you. How's that wound coming? It doesn't look like it's getting infected, is it?
Keeper, I think it's healing normally, right?
Healing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Healing normally.
I mean, probably I just tore a few stitches out of it, excruciatingly, thanks to the fact that I thought it'd be fun to ride in the back of the truck and point a shotgun at the sky.
I hold my glass of water near him and see if he flinches. Nope, he doesn't have hydrophobia.
Just as long as you whatever affected those creatures isn't infecting you.
If you see the color of my iris change, put me down without pause. Well, you can pause, get a second opinion, but if my eyes turn white, yeah, just put me down.
So Edith, you talked to some of the local townsfolk, and you have heard, a couple folks talking about how there were some crazed wildlife, and that they put them down. They figured it could be some kind of maybe rabies, maybe some kind of just weird seasonal something. But it doesn't seem like it's really come down out of the mountains. These were people who are doing some just recreational, sport hunting, and they had been walking up into the mountains. But it was, not very much. And then you have kind of heard a couple of things about people saying that they suspected something. There was an ill omen because people have been seeing the ghost, reported seeing the ghost of Chief Joseph, and they knew something bad was going to happen, and they suspect that Chief Joseph called down lightning that destroyed the fire tower. They saw, they kind of, saw some flashes of lightning, and assumed that that was the work of Chief Joseph, and that's just proof that the ghost is real.
Very well. Think perhaps your albino friend has been making appearances around town.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the morning of Friday, May 13th. So you guys spend the weekend resting. So now it's Monday the 16th. It's Monday the 16th. And you guys have each regained another 2 hit points.
Oh, I'm almost fully restored. Thank goodness. Oh.
Having been failed by the medical system, I'm at a measly 4 still.
All right.
Do I feel any luckier?
Do you feel luckier? You do feel luckier. You may have 10 points of luck restored.
Thank you.
Dr. Augustine, you're feeling better. Your arm is in a sling. It's not casted because Garrison's not set up for that, but it's in a sling, and it's not like it's broken. It was just dislocated, really bad, but it's been popped back into place. So yeah, you feel like you were right at death's door, but you've stepped away from that door.
Yes.
Now you're just on the welcome mat.
Yes, I am barely alive.
Cuthbert,
If this was the
Oh.
1970s, they would have replaced you with some bionic parts.
Rebuild him. Oh, Dr. Baxter.
you're no longer limping, Cuthbert.
Oh my God, you're right. Well, that's the damnedest thing.
You walk first up the hill from now on. Now that you're the speediest one.
Oh God. I don't know what happened.
Well,
Just
we got
one-
we got shaken up and put back together. Edith? Where did you spend the weekend?
That's a good question. I suppose in town. I don't want to be alone. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go up back to Sylvia's house with the observatory. So
There were beds available at the doc's house. They called in cots. They got, they cleared out furniture, and they made a makeshift, almost like a little hospital there, and temporarily expanded his facility. So he was able to take care of everybody under one roof, but he wanted to keep a close eye on everyone and didn't feel comfortable transporting anybody. So through the weekend, and you guys have kind of recuperated enough to feel ambulatory if you so desire.
And thanks to Hank for the pipe.
Yeah, thanks.
What about gossip from the townsfolk regarding their trip up to the mountain? Did they drag the vehicles down for the wreckage? Did they, etc.?
Yeah, good point. They did tow and drag those vehicles down and out. My assumption is when you gathered, the injured and put them into the fire, the Ranger truck, you got, your books and stuff, because everything inside the cabs, they all stayed inside the cabs. So you're able to collect all of your books, the alien weapons, all that was inside the cab. And you've collected your personal effects. So yeah, they brought the vehicles down, and they're just basically towed behind the general store, where they're gonna sit and probably get cannibalized for parts.
All right, so we have to prepare ourselves physically and emotionally to see what has happened at the observatory.
Sylvia's house was destroyed in the explosion, and so people have accepted her death and the Ranger's death as to due to act of God, is what they're calling it.
Jeez.
Lightning strike and the subsequent destruction that freak destruction that came from that lightning strike.
has anyone been to the observatory? I was wondering if that was also reported as destroyed.
No, but they're wondering. They don't know what happened to Dmitri and Vasily. They seem to have run away.
They have not been answering squawks, after all.
I'm concerned about those Sasquatches. I wonder how well they fared in all of that.
Well, what type of condition is the truck that we came down in, the Ranger truck? That's in good condition?
Yeah.
I mean, we're feeling pretty much better. I mean, should we check?
I think we have to, with mindfulness about our various injuries, return to the plan that we left when we were so rudely interrupted by a case of cabbages and a case of zucchini.
Yeah, maybe some fresh water.
sack of potatoes and visit our cave friends after we discover whether the observatory is full of, crab monster babies.
I think my guess is they left because you wouldn't blow anything up if you were planning on staying.
Unless
blow it up when you're leaving.
Unless it was the only place with a good vantage point to see where that crash might have been.
I don't know. I don't think that they cared whether we saw anything at all.
Well, maybe they didn't until they realized 2 nights ago we killed 2 of them.
Maybe. But
Then
they blew up. Why not just chop it down? Why blow up the whole valley?
Well, they had prepared the explosives ahead of time.
Okay, well that makes me even think more that they'd blow it up when they get ready to leave.
But why would they blow it up when they left?
To cover up any evidence of themselves being
Why would
there.
they care about evidence?
They seem somewhat surreptitious, don't they?
I don't know.
They seem to want to hide tracks of themselves.
But there were more tracks of them and more areas that they've come in contact with.
It feels like it's easier to hide yourself if you just take the bodies with you and you don't create fantastic
I just don't know why they would. I can't get it out of my mind. Why would they blow up the tower? Why would they blow up the whole area?
Well, maybe they didn't intentionally.
Or maybe they didn't.
I mean, if
maybe something went
this
wrong.
person we've seen in the woods set it off.
But what if what if it caused a cave-in for the Sasquatches?
I fear they may just be dead. I mean, that they were much closer to it than we were, and look how we fared.
Well, we should go up there anyway and see what's going on.
I agree. And bringing food just in case.
But
If they're alive, they're probably going to want it.
There's a local gas station, I'm guessing.
Yeah, there's a gas station along with the general store that Buffington runs.
I'd like to take 10, 15 minutes and just bring our rent-a-car over there, fill it up with gas, fill up the tires, top off the oil, make sure it's ready to go. So when we get back here, if we have to leave quickly, we're ready.
I like that forethought.
And we've got guns.
If any of you are good with a rifle, I have a rifle in my car.
I'll stick with my shotgun, but I appreciate the offer.
Yeah, I think shotguns can do more damage to those things. Hit them all over the place. All right, so I've got a shotgun too.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'd handed my shotgun over because I was going to use my pistol, but given that I was in the back of the vehicle, maybe we should all be rearming at Hank's. My pistol's probably rusty in the woods somewhere underneath Augustine's tree.
Could someone run into Hank's for me and check to see if they have any .32 revolver ammunition?
Gotta go anyway.
I'm fearful if I look for it.
So you're walking better, but you're superstitious. Very interesting.
I'll go see if they have any for you.
Thank you.
They do.
I'm gonna get some beef jerky as well as all this Sasquatch food.
Okay.
I hope we'll find the observatory intact. But one way to find out.
Buffington comments, "You guys are looking a lot better. Oof. You were in some pretty rough shape coming down out of the mountain."
Very fortunate to have made it out of all of that alive.
You saw the trucks. I felt like the one that had the axle turned sideways. I think I'm always gonna favor this leg.
Wonder we didn't all get killed.
Actually, we went. Cornelius and I did go to the observatory to get the truck. Was it still
that's right,
standing?
Yeah. It looked.
The building was still standing? Okay.
Yeah, everything's still fine there. It was far enough away from the blast.
Sure. Got it.
Yeah. We could check the area where the canister was, but I think.
I don't.
Yeah, I think it's better to check on the Sasquatch cave, and then if there's a fire road that's leading in the direction of the crash site, if there's a fire road that would facilitate a more rapid approach on truck, then why not?
It might actually be easier now. There's a lot of forest felled.
Well, easier to see, but certainly not to drive, because that means more debris all over the fire trails.
Yeah, lots of debris.
But if there's a good size fire, like major fire breaks are like 30 feet across, so there might be drivable passages in that.
All right, so you guys are all heading back up into the mountains and not going to the observatory, but going to go and check on the Sasquatch.
Yes, with plenty of food for them.
Okay. All right. Like before, you make it to a certain point by truck, and then eventually it's just you gotta get out and hoof it. So you guys are doing that, carrying all of your gear, and you're only bringing mundane weapons. You're leaving the alien weapons in the truck. You're leaving the books and stuff in the truck.
Well, I imagine that we've got rooms or something now in the town, right?
Sure.
So
we probably left them there. Yeah.
Okay, left them there. Great. All right, so you guys head up in the truck, and you've got the produce and your weapons, and you start hiking up, and you make it back up to that valley area that I've talked about, and you know that if you head up into the on the left side, you can get up to those caves where the Sasquatch were. One cave was open, one cave seemed to have like a boulder corking it, and it had a weird green glow kind of leaking out from around that cork. And the open one is where Edith had her encounter with the family of Sasquatch.
What's the valley here like after the blast? Are the trees all knocked down, or?
Yes, the trees are knocked down. It looks like a major blast has come through here and just laid everything down.
Well, hopefully they're okay.
Well, trying to find any potential impact sites going to be difficult now.
Yeah, it could be buried.
Be hidden
Might
under
just be
trees.
different angles of incidents. Friends, I think we should make our weapons unobtrusive, and again, Ms. Thomas should sort of lead the approach to the, if hopefully still present, cave dwellers. A couple of us can bear obvious foodstuffs right behind her.
That sounds like a good idea. Can we? I'd like to assess when we get to the cave. I'd like to assess it. I mean, is it caved in? Does it look?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys make your way up. As those who were here before, you're taking that familiar path again up, and the blast has just cleared away, stripped away any of the trees that were up here, and just left bare rock. It's almost easier to climb now because what trees have fallen, you're almost able to use them almost as a faux stairwell, right? You're kind of climbing up this in addition with the rock face. And as you get up there, you can see the two caves up ahead. It looks like the cave that was corked with a boulder, that boulder is gone. Both cave entrances look open and dark.
What if the whole point of the explosion wasn't for its effect on the surface, but what it would do underground?
What do you mean?
Collapsing something. something subterranean, a cave in. I mean, it's
Why
not
not put
visible
the-
here.
Why not put the bomb in the cave?
Math, you don't want to blow up what's in the cave. You want to seal something off, but not destroy everything.
Yeah, seal up all the surface entrances.
But these aren't sealed. But I am just curious if the intended effect wasn't for something above ground at all. They just needed the buffer of the ground between it. I don't know. Just a thought.
The legends do say that they live underground.
Like ants. Also, though, in the Great War, there were airburst bombs because you didn't want to dampen your explosion with all that heavy matter, but allow it to blossom in light air. At any rate, if the lower cave is empty, then we're going to have a lot of cabbage soup for the next week.
Well, we could leave maybe half the food in the cave. I mean, they may come back and visit it in the future.
We don't know if they're still in there or not, so let's
I think we should
Suppose
check.
first before.
And if the cave is empty, no signs that they've been killed or anything like that, we could just leave all of the food here for them to survive on.
Agreed.
Not necessarily think that we need it. Yes, let's go. Let's go. Cautiously, quietly, making my presence known. Going into the cave.
I would.
Hum that tune again, perhaps.
Yes, that is the plan.
All right. You start going into the cave, and you can see, recalling and comparing it to your previous visit, the cave seems more chaotic. There's stones everywhere, and you can see chunks of what were the walls and ceilings of the cave have collapsed, and so there's a whole portion of a wall that looks like it's kind of slid and is blocking off about 50% of the tunnel entrance. You kind of have to climb up and over it to kind of get past that now, but you go into the depth where you feel like this is where you had discovered and communicated with that family, but there's no one here.
Nothing here.
Yeah.
No, like bodies or anything like that either. It's just empty.
Mm-mm,
Okay.
nothing. And on your previous visit, there was a body at the cave
That's true.
entrance. That one's gone.
All right. I'll report back. I'm wondering if maybe this group hasn't just packed up and left. Maybe they were uncomfortable with us finding them where they were and decided to leave.
And you guys were licking your wounds all through the weekend, so it's been a couple of days since you've been able to come up here.
It could have been you spoofing them. It could have been their rather unfriendly neighbors, or the freak ecological disaster that just
Very
occurred.
true.
They have every reason to leave here.
I agree. Well, let's see what this other cave is.
Yeah, maybe leave some of the food that lasts the longest here, and then bring the stuff that's more perishable with us in case we run into them farther along.
That sounds reasonable.
Like potatoes would probably last the longest. Maybe we could leave our batch of potatoes here.
So do we want to explore this cave here, or do we want to go to the impact site, or are we looking for these creatures?
Well, sources of suspicious green light, I think, should be investigated.
That's true. But you said it's dark, right, John? That we don't see a light. Interesting.
Yeah. Now it's daytime where you're at, so the cave looks dark in there.
Maybe a flashlight, maybe.
It could be that the glow was actually quite dim, but in the middle of the night it looked quite bright. In the day it might be almost
invisible.
just
Dusk, but yes, it might be hard to see during light. Also, the cave entrance was occluded before. We don't know whether any of the intentional actors moved the boulder or whether the violence the blast did.
Well, let's go carefully and check and see if there's any evidence of Sasquatch or Miko.
Okay, so everyone goes into the second cave. All right. So this cave, it's not as deep as the other cave. It's much more shallow, and maybe it's because of that shallowness, it's sturdier. There's not so much void in there, and so it doesn't seem to be as damaged as the other one was. So as you go into this shallow cave, and you play your torches around, there's a portion of the floor that is highly scorched. It looks like there was some sort of heat source that was just like burning the stone ground, and it radiating out evenly. So you just see this black scorch mark that just kind of radiates out, and it's a circle on the ground, or a rough circle, that's probably 3 feet in diameter, and you do see kind of at the perimeter about 4 pretty good sized, maybe like mouse sized chunks of rock that have a green glow to them. 4 of them.
The cave that we're in. Cave, yeah. Does it, considering the size of these creatures that we saw the other night, does the cave look like it's large enough to hold a spaceship that could hold those things?
Well, the family of Sasquatch, this cave does not look big enough to have been used as a family dwelling for that family, which is probably why they were in the other cave.
So you couldn't fit a ship in here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how you would describe a ship, but it was, this entire cave is probably the size of a double car garage, but the cars would be, in single file. You can put 2 cars in here.
Given that the attackers in the observatory were bigger than human sized, there's no way that 4 of those and the vessel that came was parked in here.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't seem logical. If you can just even extrapolate what a vehicle like that would be.
Now, you've heard rumors of these things. Did they ever reported to you spacecraft?
I don't know. How else is something going to fly around? They can fly, but
keep in mind though that cave networks can have a cavern and then a little tiny passage into a much larger cavern. Maybe there's a little crevice we're missing.
Well,
I guess I was just assuming that the glowing green thing was their ship, which they hid in the cave. But if it's not big enough, I didn't see the cave. I was just going by what you guys said.
There was these rocks are luminescent. They could have been the green glow, but there's some kind of incendiary.
Could they be the meteor?
Incendiary that occurred in here.
So, Long, do you know what stone this is?
I am not a geologist, but I can tell you one thing. I've never seen a stone that's glowed before.
But you've seen meteorites, haven't you? What is this? Is this a meteorite?
Again, I don't know of any rock on this planet that glows like this. So if it's rock at all, it must have come from outer.
Are these pieces glowing on the floor?
Yeah, there's 4 chunks, each about the size of this, and each chunk is glowing.
If I hold my hand over one of them, is it feel warm?
There is warmth radiating off it,
but not hot. If I lick a finger and touch it, do I get a sizzle?
Yeah, not a sizzle. It's not like touching a hot fry pan, but
warm potato, maybe.
Yeah, warm potato.
Could that be?
Now, I'm assuming you just kind of licked and just did a quick tap and release. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're hot.
They're toasty. We should hollow out 4 of the spuds to carry them. We probably shouldn't have excessive contact with them since we don't know what the source of this warmth is. But it's not like a chemical warmth because, I mean, and the scorch mark on the floor is much more substantial than, say, the fire pit that the Sasquatch was
Much more substantial.
So the main object here was very hot
and much bigger.
Maybe they broke something into pieces. Maybe they dragged whatever fell into here and broke it apart.
It's possible. Do these shards look like round river pebbles or like broken shards?
Broken.
Yeah.
So what if they were trying to chip something apart and it wasn't going fast enough, so then they needed a heat source. They were heating it up maybe to separate it. And so they did their little light show at the fire tower to finish it off.
Well, the color of these glowing fragments is greenish. Isn't that also the predominant color of Nemesis?
Nemesis is red, if I recall correctly.
With a green glow.
Oh, red with a green
Red
glow.
with a green glow.
I think this is one of the sort of, the family of objects that both precedes and follows the main body of your...
We should definitely take this and bring it back with us to maybe even to Miskatonic. I can use separate out its bands, see what it's made out of, place the elements in it. But I can't do that here.
I have to transport them carefully. Again, I feel like we could just stuff the 4 of them into a sack of potatoes, I suppose, rather than individually case them. But I think we want to retain whatever energy or heat is inside them rather than let it dissipate. But we also, I don't think, want to be in direct contact with it.
No, I wouldn't want to touch it.
All right, so are we assuming then that this, whatever it is the meteorite?
I want to check try to find an impact site also, but I would assume that whatever it was that fell was in here.
The body of this is gone. We're just looking at bits that remain.
Okay, so the object was put into the cave, and then the cave was closed up. Do we think the Sasquatch did that?
Quite possibly.
They could have, but so I think because these fragments, right? Something broke this apart, or they gathered fragments in here. But I'm thinking that why would you need to expect a massive explosion? Well, perhaps it was to break this up. So if we go back to ground zero of where the fire tower used to be, we might find more pieces of this.
Now, my hypothesis is quite different. Cuthbert, what do you think?
I don't know.
Well,
for the sequence of events to make sense, the meteorite falls, the Sasquatch see it, they hide it in the cave and close it up, maybe because they're afraid of it. It's bad magic. And then the Migo come looking for it, and then they find it and they take it.
That is much more in keeping with my anticipation, yes. The primitives thought the magic glowing rock was worth putting in a cave.
Because there's no reason why the Migo would put it in a cave.
So perhaps you do a surface explosion to clear the area so you have an easier time finding it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Again,
wonder-
I would be surprised if they blew that up just as an exit.
Well, the other thing is that our crab visitors seem not to be terribly resilient physically. They took on the Sasquatch, and one of them got torn to shreds. They took on you in the observatory, and two of them were blasted, which is why they employ subterfuge. And so, they might have known that the Sasquatch had the nemesis attendant object, but they fought them for it and lost, and they had to employ another tactic to clear the Sasquatch out of the way so they could retrieve their glowing bauble.
Dr. Long, do we think that the nemesis comes here, that this is not the first time, that it comes here occasionally? Don't comets follow cycles?
This thing does not move like any comet I've ever
I was
seen
just
before in my
wondering if
life.
maybe the comet is where the Migos come from.
We have read
Wanted-
that this has returned and left in the past.
And there's always disasters, aren't there, when comets come?
There were, it is written, serpent people who were extinct after a visit from Nemesis.
Maybe all their brains got taken from them.
And didn't
But
you
the
mention-
Migo have been according to your legends, they've been here for quite a long time. All over the earth.
They've been fought. There's pictures in Nepal that show them, the monks fighting them off with sticks.
So I don't believe they come from the comet, but they're definitely interested in it.
But didn't you say, Dr. Long, that, or I'm not sure who discovered this, but that Nemesis changed course,
It changes direction.
which is, it's clearly not no comet does that, from my
That's-
understanding. I mean, it sounds like there's some sort of intelligence behind a
Sounds like a
course
ship.
correction. Exactly.
Could it
But
be a ship?
ships in space.
It makes no sense, but gravitational pull or
Yes, I know how. I understand. But look, things just don't change directions like that. They have to be acted upon by some kind of force.
exactly.
Well, an advanced enough civilization, maybe they could build ships in space, like a sailing ship.
But why is a part of it? I don't know.
I don't know. There's so much weird stuff going on.
Exactly.
I don't think it's a ship.
Maybe they're just weird rock collectors. We don't know.
Well,
we don't have
until we can
any.
get this back to a laboratory to study it more, this is all just
Yeah.
conjecture. I don't know what this is.
I don't think the Sasquatch are here anymore. I don't
No.
see any reason for us to stay any longer.
I just want to. I mean, check the crash site. Check again. Just go through the devastation
Okay.
if we
Do
can
you think
even
it's
reach it.
up and over the ridge?
The crash site, yeah, it should be at the north
that's
end of this valley.
All right, let's go
this
check.
ridge.
Let's bring the
Yep.
rock. Bring the rocks.
I'll leave some of my heartier food back in the in the cave, just in case.
Well, we need to empty out some containers so we can
It's
pick
just-
these rocks up.
There's no reason for us to take all this food. We'll just.
Oh, exactly.
just-
And it could help.
Let's put one rock each in a cabbage and carry 4 cabbages and leave the rest behind. Cabbages won't. Cabbages are good insulators, no doubt, for strange glowing rocks.
or
Cabbage armor.
you carry them right here next to your head on your shoulder. Well,
Be fine with the cabbage.
Who and how are you putting these rocks into bags?
Well, my idea would be to use burlap sacks from the potatoes to scoop them up and then just carry them in a box. That's what I was thinking. I don't know why we're stuffing them into vegetables.
yeah.
I like insulation. I don't want their heat to run out before we can have a good look at them. So if we just, core a cabbage for each one, shove it in, and then put that in a sack, I don't want to carry a box. That's uncomfortable. I want to throw something over my shoulder.
We don't happen to have any particularly large turnips by any chance, do we?
Can we just say that we take them out using certain precautions that
Do you really want to insulate them in the cabbage?
I do. I don't.
Okay, no, that's fine.
I don't object.
insulate them in some way? Yeah.
All right. So each one is inside the. You've roughly cored out a cabbage and stuffed a stone into each one. So there's 4 cabbages, each with a stone heart now, and they're all in a bag that Dr. Baxter's carrying.
Mm-hmm. I like it. And
All
it'll
right.
be interesting when we get back to the observatory to see whether the heat has cooked these cabbages significantly. If it has, we'll know that heat is persistent and perhaps dangerous, and make adjustments for that. Get some something safe like asbestos to wrap them in.
Why are we
All right.
going back to the observatory now?
We're not. We're going up the ridge, but I assume we're going to the observatory before we return to town. The observatory is important.
So you guys head to the north end of the valley, and while there, anyone who's there may attempt a spot hidden roll.
Ooh, 18.
46 is a success.
Hard.
24. Now we all get good rolls.
33.
Now that we're not
All right.
hard.
Cornelius for sure with this hard success. Anybody with a hard success, you follow the valley to the northern end, and sure enough, there is a fairly sizable impact crater.
Mhm.
Well, now we can confirm. Maybe we'll find fragments of little green rocks, in which case we'll know that this is where it came from.
There are some, but they're very, very tiny.
But even though they're tiny, they're still warm or glowy.
There are little dots of green glow to them, yeah. And if you're like right on top of it, you can feel the warmth coming off it. But being so small, they don't give off a lot of heat.
Well, do we have a grape for each one that we can perhaps?
Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts.
Well, I would like to gather up as many little fragments as I can find, but the broken pieces here, yeah, some of it broke on impact. But if the Sasquatches did indeed gather it all, then they must have. I mean, something broke off the medium size, we'll call them, pieces as well. So they might have been broken when they were transported, or they just gathered up all the clumps of it they could find of any relevant size and brought it to the cave.
Seems as though there was a central mass. Given your understanding of cosmology, Dr. Long, and the injuries to the foliage and the size of this impact, how large an object do you think might have hit?
Well, nothing. Well, can I make a physics roll to
You
estimate
certainly
that?
may. You certainly may.
Could I make one too, actually?
A
Yes.
32 is a hard success on physics.
Ooh, I have an 11. It's also hard success, yeah.
Yeah, both Edith and Frederick concur that probably the object was about 4 feet in diameter.
So that's quite consonant with the burn mark in the topmost cave.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the Sasquatch that brought it there, that's what burned him.
Must have been fairly round. They must have had to roll it. Something that large must have weighed a ton.
Well, half of it was burned. So if it carried it over its shoulder like this,
Yeah.
that would definitely
It-
that localized burning.
4 feet. You just did physics. Something that's 4 feet across is going to weigh like 3 tons.
Yeah, but then again, I couldn't tell you about 12 to 18 foot tall Sasquatches living out in the woods that can throw boulders at things. So
Yeah, they were holding beach ball sized boulders with one hand. So
one of them could have been strong enough to carry it by itself.
And I was When I saw the
And
first one,
the size of the object does not correlate to its weight.
Pumice.
It could have been 4 feet in diameter, but not weigh all that much.
Well,
I
we've
mean, how
got-
heavy are these pieces that we have with us?
Right. Are they heavy or light?
They don't seem to have a lot of weight to them.
Yeah, you could-
The bag is not substantially heavier. It feels like you've got 4 cabbage heads.
They're not dense at all. It's just it's the heat that's.
And yet, when it hit the ground, it didn't shatter into a million pieces.
It-
That's
it-
interesting too.
Well, a lot of it did. And it might, yeah, I mean, there's flakes of this stuff everywhere.
Right. There may have been, who knows how many more pieces from the initial.
You have to come back here at night, which I'm not keen to do.
A lighter thing would slow down more in atmosphere.
I think we need to get the hell out of here.
yeah, I was just thinking, around this crash site, does it seem like there's animal noises and such here, or are they all gone now?
It is incredibly quiet.
So many of them would have been killed by the explosion.
And I'm wondering if the rest got that glazy-eyed, maybe exposure to this does something, mutates them somehow, and that's why we have all these crazed birds and dogs about.
Well, that's something we can test, Cuthbert. We have pieces of it now. We can actually be scientists and test for these things instead of endlessly guessing it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
So we want to analyze these pieces of star waste. Do we want to formally close the observatory? Should we go there and lock it up? Or Long, do you need to look at Nemesis from the observatory again?
I want to get their records. If we didn't grab those, if we didn't have the foresight to grab those and bring them back
we
with
grabbed
us,
them.
all
We
their
certainly took some paperwork.
astrological data that they've collected. Okay, I don't know why we would go back.
After what Cornelius said he saw with Dimitri, I'm very hesitant to return. I don't know. It's clear that there's still at least one of them left. I don't know.
I feel like we need to get back to Providence.
Dr. Augustine, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. I just thought I'd leave the more continuous talking to you, but because I'm not in the best of ways still. But I agree with you, Zeno. For once, we should get back to Providence.
Well, Edith, I don't know if you have any further prospects of employment here, but I think I can pull some strings and get you some kind of position at Miskatonic.
That would be appreciated. I don't think there's a future in Garrison for me. And frankly, I don't want to stay around.
The academy could certainly arrange for a stipend for you for the interim period, however long that might be.
Well, the Tuesday Night Academy may want to come back at some point to survey the observatory, but I think if we leave some time between now and then, the Migo, if there are any left, should hopefully vacate here.
Well, let's have this lovely conversation on our way back to our truck that will take us safely to Garrison so we can get out of here.
We're walking to the truck. I can't believe that nobody else wants to go back to the observatory to close it up or anything.
Well, it's on the way. It's just 10 minutes out of the way, isn't it?
Yeah, we can swing by.
Kind of on the way. It's not far.
Not loiter, but just make sure we have collected everything of importance and then be on our way out.
I should gather some of my personal things. That's true.
Someone's got to deal with the animal in the barn.
I'll bring Trotsky down to town. I'm sure Hank can find someone to care for him. But yes, you're right. It needs to be dealt with.
We should lock it and perhaps board the windows against. And Long, you don't want to look at the thing and check its course? It seems as though we have an observatory. I mean, I understand you were attacked while looking at it, so perhaps you're gun shy. But we're not going to have an observatory when we get back to Providence to check the progress of this
I actually think that's a good idea, Dr. Long. I want to take a look at it myself.
You have to wait till it's night. I mean, perhaps our most malicious of visitors from beyond have left.
I think they've left. There's something I need to see, though. I think it might have to do with my dream or the dream stuff.
Well, if I recall correctly, you were told when the time was right. I don't know if looking at it will be the right time, but I suppose we have one vehicle, and if everybody else is set on waiting it out, then I will wait with you. It's at the observatory.
I feel there are things that need to be put in order, and again, we don't have an observatory in Providence.
Yes, let's go. We can get it over with quickly, I think.
Yeah, let's go.
As long as we all stick together.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, so you guys drive to the observatory?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You pull up to the observatory. Everything seems quiet.
How's Trotsky?
So who wants to go and check on the mule?
I'll go check. I'd know how to care for him. So
Okay.
yeah.
I'll head over there too, as
I
that's around the area where I heard Dimitri and saw the canister.
True.
Dr. Long, let's get all the records that we can find.
At the records, I already took the records.
Okay.
I
Dr.
will
Salad-
go to the barn as well. Just
Okay. Dr. Saladin, you feel compelled to go to the house.
The house. Yeah, I got it. I'm just going to go look over here. And I start walking towards the house.
Okay. So Edith and Philip and Arlo and Cornelius are heading over to the barn. Cornelius is maybe lingering towards the wood line where he had seen the canister. Give me a spot hidden, Cornelius.
Certainly. Oh, that's a complete fail. 94.
Okay, it's kind of dark in there, shadowy, so it's hard to see what is or isn't in there. But you don't hear any voices. Edith and Philip and Arlo go into the barn to check on Trotsky. Trotsky is all over the barn. His circulatory system has been stretched out like a large web. His coat is stretched out on the ground. His skeleton is somehow standing on its own in the stall, but with nothing on the interior or exterior of his skeleton. The three of you can please give me a SAN roll.
Fail.
Yeah, fail as well.
Fail.
And 50 is a failure too.
Each of you roll a d3 plus 1.
2.
4. I should have known it would be bad, and yet.
But Trotsky wasn't like this when Cornelius and I came to get the truck, correct?
Correct.
So they've been here recently. Now,
After the explosion.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
This is concerning.
Cornelius, were you going to go into the woods?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll not exactly on top of it, but I'll take 5, 6, 7 steps in the direction towards where I recall it being, and just
Okay.
sort of look again. But I'm not going to be stupid and run all into it.
Okay. Yeah, you are really confident that whatever that garbage can cylinder was, it's not out there anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Frederick and Zeno were in the house, yes? Okay. Zeno, you go into the house, and it was a very simple structure. If you remember, the door centralized, you go in, it's a living room, kitchenette, kind of central in the building, and then there were 4 side rooms, 4 bedrooms, and so you just kind of walk in and almost like you're kind of just opening yourself and kind of pivoting around, and then you feel this compulsion and you start stepping. Even you don't even realize that you're walking at first, but you're stepping in the direction of Vasilei's bedroom.
Okay.
Not a room that you've been in, clearly, but you approach Vasilei's bedroom.
Frederick, follow.
Yeah, I'm right behind you.
I feel something's drawing me. I don't know why. I'm going in here, and I open up the door to Vasilei's bedroom.
There is a small bed and a side dresser, and it's got 4 drawers, and there's a clutter of personal effects on the top of the dresser, and you're kind of pulled to the dresser, and just right there on top of the dresser is a small object wrapped or in a small golden yellow silk bag.
What is this? It's a little bag.
And as you open it, you withdraw a crucifix. The crucifix has a design that you're unfamiliar with. You're assuming it's some kind of Russian artistry. But centralized on the crucifix, there is a crucified figure, but then mounted even on top of that is a strange stone, and it's a dull. It's not glowing, but it's a dull stone, and it has like a green with blue speckles on the stone, and you feel satisfaction in holding it.
Found what you were looking for?
Yes.
Well,
But
let's
I
go.
don't know why. I'll fold it up. I'll put it in my pocket.
We have plenty of time to figure that out, Zeno. Or maybe not.
All right, let's go.
All right, you emerge from the house. Cornelius emerges from the wood line, and Edith and Philip and Arlo emerge from the barn.
Where's the donkey?
Same place as Sylvia, the ranger, and the dog.
So it looks like our little fungal friends from the stars haven't left. So
All right, well, let's get the hell out of here.
looks like their little explosion wasn't a goodbye party after all.
I'm going to quickly pack my effects because now I only have the clothes on my back, and then I will be ready to go.
All right.
Long, how close would the object nemesis have to be to see it during the daylight?
It's on the other side of the planet.
What?
The planet
If you
rotates.
see it at night,
If you
the
see
Earth
it at
is
night,
rotating.
it's down there now.
Well, with all its... Well, you could see it during the day in the southern hemisphere. But would have to measure its luminosity, do a lot more calculations. So looking through their data, I might be able to ascertain that, but I don't have an answer for you right now, Baxter. But I do have their data that they've been collecting, so I might be able to answer it with a little bit more intensive study.
Right.
All right, well, if we're going to lock this place up and leave it empty, I'm going to discard anything perishable from the kitchen, etc., before we go.
By the way, the bag that you're carrying is moist now.
Cabbage sweat.
Sure.
And it's
Is there
consistent.
an ice
with that.
box?
No.
Yeah, let's put the sack in a crate and in the truck rather than me carrying it around. Does it smell like cooked cabbage?
Yeah, there's some sort of odor, and the cabbage is turning into a mush, into a goo.
Do we have
Yeah.
a metal? Do we have
Let's-
anything metal?
Yeah, let's look for a metal crate.
Yeah, the observatory has something you can use.
There must be instruments that came in metal
Sure.
boxes and things.
I'm sure like there's probably the milk crates. They probably got like 4 or 6 glass bottles of milk in a crate. Up there.
All right. So you transfer the stones to a more appropriate container, and you Edith collects personal effects, and you guys basically button up and leave the observatory. And I believe you guys are heading for Helena,
Yeah, Providence eventually.
and heading to Providence via Helena. Gonna pick up your companion from hospital, and all start heading away as the Garrison chapter closes with a whisper.
It's the
So,
whisper.
with a whisper.
Whispering. Don't go to Helena.
Oh, no.
So
All
I
right.
think that'll bring this episode to a close. This
Cool.
chapter to a close, in fact.
Our players included Morgan Llewellyn, Holly Buteau, Stuart Lively, Josh Harwood, David Gasaway, and myself, with John Hook as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. There's a link below. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good game.